everyone, today I've got 3 quick tips for you to help you make your cute and whimsical watercolor cats even cuter. These tips are easy for everyone to do and will add loads more charm and life to all your animal paintings, not only your kitty cats. So let's dive in. So tip number 1 is all to do with paper. Very briefly, I just want to touch on this. If you are painting on something like this, which is a drawing pad which I bought from some stationery shop somewhere, then you need to think about it, because this kind of paper, sketch paper, is no good. Absolutely no good. So let's discard that. What you need is some paper that resists tearing. This is proper watercolor paper and it doesn't tear, you see? Cheap paper falls to pieces in your hands. Watercolor paper actually resists tearing, and when it does tear, it will give you a line like that. So you know that it's good paper once you've ruined it. So there we are. What you need is something like this. This is not a fortune. It's Meaden watercolor paper. It's a reasonable price and it's very good. And that's what I was ripping up over there, a piece of paper that I messed up. And today I want to just mention the difference between cold press and hot press. This is a very important tip. If you use cold press, when you open it up, if you buy Meaden, you'll find it's in a block, so it's glued all the way around. So don't detach the paper until after you've finished your painting. The idea of the gluing is to make the painting stay flat while you put water on it, because water will make things bend. If it's glued like this in a block, it won't bend. So leave it until you're finished and then slide a knife in here and slip it right around the outside edge and you can detach it. Now, if you stroke this, you'll get a lovely kind of shiver down your spine, because it's slightly rough. It's just slightly rough. It feels like, oh, I don't know, what does it feel like? It feels slightly rough. Hot press, on the other hand, is when you stroke it, it feels silky. It feels silky like the coat of a cat. It is silky. This one is rough. This one is silky. You can hear the difference. I think you can hear that. You can probably hear the pigeons. They're mating. Now, why should you choose one over the other? If you use hot press, because it's silky, you'll find that your pen will work much better on it. You'll be able to get a much cleaner, neater, tidier, less scrappy and scratchy line when you use a pen. If you use cold press, your watercolor will go on differently and your pen will be slightly more scratchy. So today I think I'm going to do the demonstration on hot press paper, because normally 9 times out of 10 or even 99 out of 100 I use cold press because I quite like the scratchy effect of the pens. But today we're going to go with the hot press. So there we are, Meaden hot press paper. All the different manufacturers make hot press paper. It's no more expensive than the cold press. It's just that it's been ironed for you, so it's nice and smooth. Just a quick word about pens, actually. This is the second tip, really. As far as pen work goes, because we will be doing a little bit of pen work on our cats, I've got 3 here that I use. This one's a Winsor & Newton. Has to be waterproof. And if you want your work to last for another generation or 2, you probably want it to be lightproof, but for me, that doesn't really matter. Micron, Pigment Micron, that's another good one that I use. And Staedtler pigment liner. All 3 of those, and you can find cheaper versions of all of these kinds of pens on Amazon. If you just search for them, you'll find some name-free ones like Ohuhu or whatever it's called. Excuse me. Okay, so second tip, tip number 2. Do not think that your cats have to be a particular shape. Just like the blobby birds that we do, your cat can be any shape you like, same as the birds are, because you can always turn a cat into a cat by doing certain things to it. 3 key things. This is a recent painting that I did, and these 3 cats are different shapes. This one's tall and thinner. This one is very round. This one is, can't tell because she's asleep. But you can transform any shape into a cat as long as you remember to put the ears and the eyes and the nose and the mouth in the right place. Basically, that's all that really matters. And I'll show you what I mean. Here, we're going to do we're on tip number 2, by the way, here. First was the paper. Second, there's one of my Egyptian cats. You can go and live over there. Thank you. So probably a good idea with cats to draw a rough outline. You don't need anything terribly spectacular. But let's say I'm going to roughly do something like these three. So the first one is basically a circle and a sort of oval underneath. Okay. Then when we come to paint it, we kind of blend these two in like that. And then when we put the ears in, the important thing is to bring the ears up from the edge of the head. And you can see the cat emerging, can't you? Don't leave a big gap between the side of the head and the face, the face and the ear. So it goes like that. And then you need to put the nose roughly in the middle. And I always do a little heart because I find that looks super cute. And then I do 2 semicircles for the mouth like that. And then this one here, this purple one, has got round eyes, and we usually put them quite close to the rest of the features on the face. So something like that. And then we'll do some dots here for his whiskers to grow out of. And then we'll just do, usually I do 3 whiskers like that. Then we'll go down to the legs. And we'll just do this, 2 loops like that. You can put his claws on if you want. And then we can take the tail out. And what I usually do, I try to balance the cat with its tail. So you just, if the cat is leaning one way, then you take the tail out further to the left, like that. Okay, so that's how we draw a cute cat. And for the inside of the ears, you just do another triangle inside there like that. Okay. And then we'll do a round one, a round cat. Start with an oval like this. And for this one, we've finished the oval because the face is going to be in here. And we're going to put the ears right at the top like that, nice and close together, not too much space here. And you can then put the outside of the ear like that. You can do it that way, you see. Now this one is going to have bigger eyes. So I might put the eyes in first because otherwise I might not have enough space. So I'll put 2 ovals in. Immediately he springs to life. I'm going to give him eyelids and I'm going to give him pupils in there like that. And maybe we'll give him eyebrows like that. Now his nose has got to come right up here between his eyes. And we can give him a mouth rather, and you can make the mouth a bit quizzical like that. He's like, I'm looking for a mouse. And then the whole personality of your cat comes out of the way you position the features on the face. And there's another way of drawing legs and feet. So a little straight bit and then a bulbous bit at the bottom for the paws. And then you can do the tail coming round the front if you want. Okay. Like that. And Bob's your uncle. There's your pussycat. And all ready to be painted and to be embellished. So let's have a go at that. Tip number 3, how to paint your cats. This is the way I like to paint these days. Just checking that my camera is still working. Yes. For this one, it's not very big. So we'll probably use about a size 8 round. This one's a draw well. But Princeton do good ones too. So we'll wet the whole of the interior of the cat drawing like this, including, you don't have to, but including, I think, probably best to go over the face as well, because we're going to put colour and let it blend. You can always restore any whites that you lose if you want to put the whites in his eye and so on. You can restore that with some white acrylic or a white pen or some white gouache, whatever you happen to have. So now we'll just drop in some pink. I think we might make this one a pink cat. And what I like to do is just do my blobby drop wash and then just put different colours in. And I'm using Kuretake paints here. And I find myself that all the colours of the Kuretake paints go together, so you can't really go very far wrong. If you just choose whatever colour comes to mind, just pop into your pan and pick it up. It doesn't matter at all how this goes. You might want to keep it a little bit light around the face area, a little bit lighter. So he's begun to paint his own tail. So just bring the colour down here. And then we can just tip and turn, tilt and turn the paper just to let it smoosh around a little bit. If you've left some gaps, just try and help the paint a little bit. It's quite fun. You can watch the paint go flowing around the outside edge until it joins up. So there we are. Now, if you need to hoover out any of the paint because you've got a little bit too much there, just dry your brush off on a tissue or something and just go in and lift. You can lift it out. I haven't got too much here really, I don't think. So we'll just let that dry. You can either let it dry or you can use a hairdryer to give it a helping hand, which I think we will probably do. Yes, you get a better effect if you just let it dry naturally, but if you don't want to spend the time doing that, just pop the hairdryer onto it. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to embellish the body of the cat a little bit with some leaves and some flowers. I might go down a size or two to a slightly smaller brush. I might go down to a 5. Okay, and I'll pick up some pink, the same kind of colour that I was using there. And what I like to do, this is what I'm doing at the moment anyway, is I'm painting little flowers in random places on the cat. They will always dry a little bit lighter. The flowers, they'll always dry light. Everything always dries lighter in watercolor. Unlike gouache, which dries darker, but we're not using gouache. And you could do other kinds of embellishments, like, for example, some circular lines like this going around over the edge of the cat, or you can do leaves. So we might take a branch and just put some leaves on there. You can embellish your cat obviously any way you like, but I'm just demonstrating one way. This is just a way to make it look a bit cuter. And maybe we might pick up some slightly darker pink and paint his legs. Or her legs, maybe it's a girl. And then I might... See, when you layer paint like this, you get, whoops, that's a little bit dark. You get an interesting effect. You can put stripes on here. This is what I was aiming for. Because it's not only the colour of the paint that you're putting on top of the undercoat, but the two together, which combine to make things darker, which is quite cool. And I'll do the outside edges of the ears slightly darker. And while you're at it, you could give him or her some pink cheeks too, if you've got space. You could do that. And then what we might do next, because it always looks prettier if you add some white. So let's find a white pen that works. And we can put some dots in on the tail, something like this. And then maybe some more flowers, white ones. Could put white in the center of the pink ones. some little white nails. Okay, and we can do some dots like this, anything you fancy. You might put some outlines on these leaves as well if you feel like it. And then I'm going to give her a necklace. So that's tip number 2, how to embellish your cat. Now we're going to do number 3, which is we're looking at the features. So I'm just going to go round the eyes like this, the ones I drew earlier. Put in the eyelids and the pupil. You can leave a light bit in the middle where you're going to put the white. The character of the cat is definitely immediately established by putting in the features. Like that, and I'm going to use the thinnest one I've got here, which is a 0.2. Let's hope that is genuinely fine. Put in the whiskers. Now these pens work much better on this smooth paper than they do on the cold press. So I'm just going to go round to the legs. And the outlining is actually also something that can give a lot of character. So that's why this is tip number 3. Use your fine liner, a really fine one, to put in things like the hairs inside the ears. Like that. You might want to put some furry bits sticking out. You might want to go in again and also put some curlicues or something like that, spirals. And you might want to, for example, join up the beads on her necklace. You can do whatever you feel like because you've got the basis and all you're doing is basically embellishing it. You might want to make her legs a little bit longer. I think that's probably better. So there we are. So 3 tips. 1, experiment with hot press paper if you want a more detailed kind of effect. Number 2, don't worry about the shape of your cat because it can be any shape like the blobby birds. The critical thing about the cat is the face and putting the features in, which is what we just went into. And the 3rd thing is use your fine liner, get a decent quality pigment liner. This is a 0.2 Stettler. And then you can put all the fine details like the whiskers and the face and everything in. And you can play around as much as you like with that. You can put more detail on your flowers as well. You can put all sorts of things in here if you want. So there we are. That's all I have for you today. And I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget the test also, which I didn't mention again, tearing your paper to find out whether it's good enough quality for you to paint on. I'd be very interested to hear what you say and think about that idea. So there we are, 1 pink little cat, cute as a button. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll say bye-bye for now. See you over on YouTube probably. And take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.